The man standing next to you in line at the grocery store this morning. The one in the faded jacket, buying store-brand coffee and a pack of batteries. He's worth more than your entire neighborhood combined. You'll never know it. Neither will the cashier. Neither will the guy behind him checking his phone. That's the point. Because there's a version of wealth that doesn't look like wealth. No watch that costs more than a car. No house that makes people slow down when they drive past it. No LinkedIn post about grateful and humbled. Just a quiet number in a quiet account that keeps growing while everyone else is watching someone else. I want to show you exactly how that happens. Not the fantasy version, the real one. The boring one. The one that starts with a broken vending machine on a Tuesday afternoon and ends with an email you almost don't open in a hardware store. Pay attention to this, because almost nobody ever talks about it this way. It doesn't start with a vision. It starts with a question nobody else bothered to ask. You're walking through a hospital break room. The vending machine in the corner is out of water. The one next to it is jammed. Everyone around you is annoyed for 3 seconds and then moves on. You don't move on. You stand there and think, who actually owns this machine? 40 minutes of searching later, you have a name. A small operator. A guy running maybe a dozen machines across 3 buildings, pulling in between $40 and $120 a month per machine after costs. Not glamorous. Not interesting, really. But you do the math, and the math does something to you. 5 machines. $400 a month. 10 machines, $800. 25 machines run tight, right locations, somewhere between $1,200 and $3,000 a month. Coming in whether you show up or not. The money isn't the point yet. What gets you is the structure. The machine doesn't need you. It just sits in a hallway solving a small problem for a rotating cast of strangers, and it pays you every single time someone makes a decision. You spend $900 on your first machine. Used, a little beat up. You place it in a dental office lobby in exchange for a percentage of revenue and a handshake. First month net, $190. Nobody congratulates you. Nobody even knows. Your coworker made more than that in a single overtime shift. Your cousin's signing bonus would cover this machine's earnings for 4 years. But you're not looking at the $190. You're looking at what the $190 proves. The architecture works. Here's what most people miss about building real wealth. It doesn't look like growth, it looks like repetition. Second machine, third machine, then you start looking at laundromats the same way you looked at that vending machine. Not as a customer, as someone trying to find the ownership layer underneath. What you find, a small coin laundromat, 15 machines in a strip mall, can generate between $60,000 and $200,000 a year. The ones that fail don't fail because people stopped needing clean clothes. They fail for operational reasons. And the need, the underlying, unglamorous, recession-proof need, never goes away. You buy your first laundromat for $47,000. Working-class neighborhood in Ohio. The previous owner, a retired postal worker named Dale, ran the whole thing from a flip phone and a spiral notebook. The books are a mess. Underneath the mess, the cash flow is real. Year 1, $38,000 net. You don't celebrate. You use it as a down payment on the next one. This is the part nobody sees. Not the portfolio, not the compound effect of 8 years of quiet decisions. Just a person doing math at a kitchen table at midnight. A Tuesday observation that became a Wednesday question, that became a Thursday purchase, that became something nobody has a word for yet. The number didn't matter. The architecture did. Your accountant's name is Karen. She has done books for small business owners for 19 years. She has seen sloppy LLCs and restaurant owners who kept receipts in a shoebox. She does not impress easily. She opens your folder, reads it slowly, looks up. This, she says, is the most deliberately uninteresting portfolio I have ever seen. She means it as a criticism. You take it as a compliment. Here's what's in the folder. 4 coin laundromats across 2 Midwestern states. Combined gross, $290,000 a year. Net after expenses, around $110,000. Not spectacular, Not podcast worthy, but it arrives every month like rent because it essentially is rent. People will always need to wash their clothes. 2 municipal parking lots acquired through county tax auctions on Tuesday mornings in government buildings where almost nobody else bothered to show up. Total cost, $75,500. Combined net income, just over $58,000 a year. You hired a part-time operator. You see a deposit hit every month. 3 highway billboards on state routes in Tennessee and Kentucky. You don't own the ads. You own the land the ads sit on. Advertising companies lease it from you on long-term contracts with built-in annual rent increases. Some months, you forget you own them entirely. And then there's the commercial cleaning company. 31 years old when you bought it from a man named Frank who was ready to retire. 12 contracted clients. Annual revenue just over $1.1 million. The kind of business that loses clients slowly and replaces them slowly, and never makes headlines and never will. Karen asks if you're planning to pivot into something more growth-oriented. A tech play, maybe. Something with upside. You say no. She nods like she expected that answer and doesn't fully understand it. There's a guy at the networking event. White t-shirt that cost $340. Matte gray Range Rover with a custom wrap. He talks about his portfolio the way some people talk about their personality, loudly, in the direction of whoever might be listening. He asks what you do. You tell him you own a few small businesses. Laundromats mostly. Some other stuff. You watch his face make the calculation. The fleece you're wearing? The 2019 Honda Pilot with 91,000 miles in the parking lot? The Laundromats. He smiles politely and turns slightly towards someone else. In his head, you've already been sorted. Mid-level, comfortable, not worth the full pitch. Good. Because the moment someone underestimates you, they stop watching you. And the moment they stop watching you, you can do whatever you want. People get this wrong. They think stealth wealth is about modesty. Some philosophical stance. The humble rich person at peace with their abundance. For you, it's a strategy. The Honda isn't a statement, it's a tool. It starts every morning, handles highway miles without complaint, and draws exactly 0 attention in any parking lot in America. The average new car payment right now is around $735 a month. Every dollar that isn't going toward a payment is going somewhere that compounds. The mortgage is paid off. The neighbors think you're a small business owner who does okay. They're not wrong, they're just missing several zeros. What you've learned, slowly and then all at once, is that visibility is expensive in ways that have nothing to do with money. The moment people know what you have, they start relating to what you have instead of to you. The cousin who hasn't called in 4 years suddenly has a business idea. The brother-in-law mentions a deal that just needs a little seed capital, so you keep the space clean. The fleece. The pilot. The carefully maintained appearance of someone who is doing fine, but not exceptionally. It costs almost nothing to maintain, and it returns something money genuinely cannot purchase. The ability to move through your own life without being perceived as a target. The email arrives on a Thursday at 7:12 in the morning. You're in the plumbing aisle of a Home Depot. You're holding a bottle of drain cleaner, trying to remember if the pipe under a utility sink at one of the laundromats is PVC or galvanized. The subject line is Q2 Portfolio Summary, Final. You almost put the phone back in your pocket. Something in the preview number stops you. You put the drain cleaner on the shelf. You open the email. You read the summary line twice. Total verified net worth, $650 million. A forklift somewhere in the back of the store makes a slow beeping sound. A man 2 feet away compares prices on copper fittings. Fluorescent lights. Smell of hardware and dust. Nobody is looking at you. Nobody knows. The store doesn't know. The forklift doesn't know. The number exists in an email on a phone held by a person who is just trying to figure out which drain cleaner not to use. You thought it would feel different. You thought there would be a shift in the air. Some ceremony? There isn't. There's just a Tuesday. like every other Tuesday. And the quiet understanding that this is exactly what it was always supposed to look like. If you want to build something that lasts, something that doesn't depend on attention, approval, or anyone watching, this is the blueprint. Boring, unglamorous, relentless, and completely invisible to everyone who's still looking for wealth in the wrong places.